Of boxing here on CBS Sports Sunday. Today is a significant anniversary for three of the principals on our live boxing card. It was 1 year ago today that flyweight Paul Gonzalez, middleweight Frank Tate, and heavyweight Henry Tillman each won an Olympic gold medal for the United States. And today they return to Los Angeles with hopes of duplicating their Olympic.
Spin them, take them back to the middle of the ring. That's just what I did. Now all y'all know that pound for pound, I am the little macho man of boxing. Thank you.
Fast middleweight put the finishing touches on his training to meet Thomas Mad Dog Smith. That fight is next after this word from your local station.
That the Olympic flame was paraded through the streets of Los Angeles, igniting a spirit of international friendship as the City of the Angels played host to athletes from around the world who came to compete for the gold in the 23rd Summer Olympics. The United States dominated the boxing events as no country has ever done before, winning an Olympic record 9 gold medals. And today you will see 3 of those gold medalists, including the winner of the Outstanding Olympic Boxer Award, Paul Gonzalez. He will be making his pro debut 1 year to the day he won his Olympic gold.
My dream is going to become reality, and that dream is to be a world champion. I prove it during the games, and I'll prove it on my professional debut.
Also boxing today is Frank Tate, who devastated the light middleweight division at the Games. He is undefeated in 7 professional fights and is out to prove to the world that his gold medal was no fluke. You will also see Henry Tillman, who was the surprise gold medal winner in the heavyweight division. Tillman is 5-0 as a pro with 4 knockouts and will be boxing before his hometown fans for the first time since he captured the gold. And so today, 3 Olympic heroes make their network debuts as unbeaten professional boxers in the glamorous setting of Hollywood at the Palladium.
Hooray for Hollywood!
And we are inside the Hollywood Palladium underneath the chandeliers and with a star-filled crowd awaiting the Olympic gold medal anniversary, a year to the day that 9 Americans won gold medals. And Ryan O'Neal, a well-known boxing fan, Farrah Fawcett, among the many celebrities in attendance this afternoon. And they'll be watching the debut of Paul Gonzalez. And, of course, they will be seeing Henry Tillman and Frank Tate making their network television debuts. And with us, as usual, on our boxing coverage, Gil Clancy and Sugar Ray Leonard. And Gil, certainly these young men are looking forward to their network television debuts, but we have to believe they're awfully nervous.
Well, Tim, you know, to win an Olympic championship, you have to be a solid, well-schooled fighter. And I'm sure their trainers are saying, well, it's just another fight. But it just doesn't work that way. These kids know they're on the tube, and they are nervous. But here's the guy that knows more about it than anybody, Ray.
Ray, you must have a very vivid memory of your first professional fight.
Well, Tim, it seems like yesterday. In fact, these guys are a bundle of nerves. The television exposure creates pressure, but the big thing is the fact that every fight for these kids is like championship fights. It's comparable to the final match in the Olympics.
Well, Frank Tate's going to be the first man in the barrel this afternoon. It's our first bout this afternoon, a middleweight 6-rounder. Frank Tate against Thomas Mad Dog Smith. And let's go up to our ring announcer, Bill Kaplan.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first fight of the afternoon. A 6-round middleweight bout sanctioned by the California Athletic Commission. Representatives Jerry Nathanson, Chairman, Raul Silva, Marty Denkin, Eileen Eaton, and Brad Pye, Jr. The referee for the first bout is Dr. James Jenkin. And now, introducing in the red corner, with a record of 17 wins and 2 losses, 8 knockouts, wearing the black trunks with a white trim, from Tyler, Texas, Thomas Mad Dog Smith. And in the blue corner, the 1984 156-pound Olympic gold medalist with a professional record of 7 wins and no losses, scoring 6 knockouts. In the blue trunks with the red and white stripes, from Houston, Texas, Frank Tate!
Well, for Frank Tate, winning the Olympic gold medal was the thrill of a lifetime. But since turning pro, he's tried to put that behind him and concentrate on a new goal. But the Olympics are still on his mind.
Standing on that #1 podium, receiving an Olympic gold medal. It's like a dream come true. My goal was to win the Olympic gold medal. Now I'm on a mission. Let's become the world champion one day.
So he's en route at a record of 7-0 with 6 knockouts. The 21-year-old Frank Tate from Detroit against Thomas Smith, 17-2 with 8 knockouts. Now, let us not forget the opponents against these Olympians, because for them it is a venue, an opportunity for exposure that they might not otherwise get. If they can knock off one of these unbeaten Olympians, suddenly they are somebody. They get the attention. And in each case, they are the more experienced fighter than the Olympic boxer. And hopefully today we will have matchups that will create the possibility of an upset and excitement for a new name like Thomas Smith. But the focus, of course, is Frank Tate at the moment in the blue trunks and Thomas Smith in the black with white trim.
But Tim, the reason I say that each fight is like a championship fight is the fact that fighting these Olympic fighters, champions rather, it brings out the best in ordinary fighters.
Frank Tate winning the gold medal in the light middleweight division at 156 pounds, came in at 162 today. Thomas Smith, 160 pounds at the weigh-in. Tate, of course, the 84 world champion, and coming out of that Frank Amateur stable, scored 2 wins over Sean O'Sullivan, the well-regarded Canadian, including in the title match at the Olympics, a 2-time national Golden Glove and national amateur champion.
What's going to help Frank Tate in his professional career is the fact that he fights often. In fact, he's had more fights than just about all the guys except Steve McCrory.
Being trained by Jesse Reed now down in Houston, the Houston Boxing Association sponsorship.
Tim, I noticed that Smith is giving his head to Tate. He wants Tate to throw punches at him so he can counter. That could be dangerous.
Thomas Smith from Preston, Virginia, now lives in Houston. The former Texas Golden Gloves champion in 1979 and 80.
Good combination by Tate. Beautiful combination. Body and head.
Who's got Smith in a little bit of trouble here early in round number 1. Now Smith with a sharp jab back. Under a minute to go in the first round. Smith is managed by Joe Costello and trained by John Morgan, and Curtis Coates, a name familiar from the Clancy era.
Yes, he was a great welterweight champion.
Tate has to keep his right hand up. He has a tendency to drop it, so a left hook would definitely land on the chin of Tate if Smith should get an opportunity to throw it.
I can't believe Smith. He's putting his head right there, Ray. He's giving Tate the target.
As much as he is, well, he's taking the fight to Tate, but he's apparently a stationary target. He's directly in front of Tate, and Tate with his hand speed is taking advantage of it.
Under the 30-second mark we go in round 1, scheduled for 6. As will be the heavyweight bout between Tillman and Phelps, and Paul Gonzalez against Jose Torres.
More doubt. 10 seconds.
Final seconds of round number 1 at the Hollywood Palladium. The Olympic champion Frank Tate and Thomas Mad Dog Smith.
There weren't a lot of people in the world who thought I was going to beat the great Sugar Ray Robinson. I felt that I'd worked hard and that I'd studied well and that I had everything in order, and I felt within myself that I could do it. Anytime anything works out the way you plan, it's got to be great, and this worked out every bit as good as we'd planned, and I had the middleweight championship, so it was a great thrill.
Round number 2 of this first of 3 scheduled bouts on CBS Sports Sunday, featuring the gold medal Olympic champions Frank Tate, Henry Tillman, and Paul Gonzalez. And Frank Tate against Thomas Mad Dog Smith. Tim Ryan with Joe Clancy and Sugar Ray Leonard. We scored the first round for Tate.
Be mean. Gotta be mean.
One stage, about midway through the round, it looked like he had Smith in a little bit of trouble. He was wobbling some, but he's recovered well and appears to be all right. But Gil, you pointed out, and you did, Ray, as well, that he's a target there to be hit.
Well, his defense is not too cool. In fact, he's standing directly in front of Tate.
Ray, I think he feels that the best way to get to Tate, though, is with a counter punch. He just can't seem to reach him with the lead.
Beautiful counter punch by Frank Tate. You notice the way that Tate has put his punches together in combinations.
Well, Smith has been in with some pretty tough middleweights.
Stay on it.
He's never been stopped.
Once I turned professional, Tim, I would fight once a month, and I would encourage these Olympic fighters to do the same, because the more experience you have, you'll see yourself progress very well.
Well, Tate's been following your program. He's had a fight every month of 1985 and debuted in December of last year, so he's been on that monthly schedule.
And trained. He looks more and more polished. Very relaxed.
Well, he's changed his stance now. Now he's using the Ken Norton stance. That didn't work too well. See the way he's bringing that right hand. Oh, beautiful right hand by Tate. He's giving him a different look, though, Ray.
Well, what he's doing, he's actually going to the body, and he's just pretty much doing what he wants to do.
Thomas Smith's 2 losses have come at the hands of 2 well-regarded pros, Barry Oddie and Buster Drayton.
Right there.
He's otherwise won the rest of his 19 professional bouts. Under a minute to go, round 2.
He is what we call a 10-round fighter, Tim.
Come on, dog.
That was an arm punch that Tate landed that time.
I like what Tate is doing. He's actually using that jab to set his man up for the right hand. He goes to the body with the uppercuts. He comes back up to the head.
He's hurt. Smith is hurt.
Got Smith. It was a right-hand lead that started it. Tate now just firing away, and Smith unable to grab or get out of the traffic range. He wants to punch. He's trying, but Tate just throwing leather.
Those right hands are landing on the chin of Smith. He is in big trouble now.
He is some tough guy, though, Ray. My goodness.
They will stop this. This guy's not firing back.
Referee is Dr. James Jenkin, experienced California referee. Final seconds of round number 2. We are in round 3, scheduled for 6. And a slight cut opened over the right eye of Tate in that last round, although he was the man throwing most of the punches and had Smith in difficulty at the end of the round. There is a slight cut at the corner of the right eye of Frank Tate. Jesse Reed, his trainer, went to work on it quickly during that break between rounds.
It was a very controlled round for Frank Tate. He had Smith in trouble. In fact, there was more time. I'm sure the fight would have been stopped.
Ray, Smith moves his body pretty good, but his feet look like they're nailed to the ground. He doesn't use his legs at all. That's his problem.
He has to get more body movement.
No elbow. Let's go.
Come on, dog.
Thomas
Very
Smith,
flat-footed.
from Preston, Virginia, now lives in Houston, as we mentioned. Spars with Donald Curry.
Don't wait for him. Move your hands. Move your hands.
Well, Tim, that doesn't do anybody any good.
I was going to say that doesn't help it at all.
Well,
He started to come back now.
the theory is he would learn from Donald Curry, but he would also be taking a lot of shots.
That's what we used to tell all the sparring partners, Tim, but they're not easy to get.
Great learning experience for you. Smith, again, planted in his corner. That's where he got into trouble last time. Definitely looking to counterpunch against Tate, and so far hasn't been able to hurt him with counters.
He just doesn't move his legs at all.
But one thing to save Smith once he gets in trouble is the fact that he's able to utilize his experience and know-how.
He's had 19 professional fights. He's 21 years of age. Frank Tate, just a little bit of blood from the cut at the corner of his right eye. Jesse Reed did a good job between rounds.
Smith needs to put that left hand up. He's starting to drop it now.
Smith landed a combination of the last exchange, got Tate on the ropes. He seems very relaxed there, and now just spins away.
Dig, dog. Dig. Pull him into the hook. Come on, dog. Gotta work him, mad dog. Oh, come on, dog. There you go. Don't wait. Do you want it?
Watching Frank Tate in the gym the other day, Ray, it seemed that the jab, while he has it, is not something that he uses all that much. He seems to lead with a kind of a lazy left hook and often with a right hand.
Well, Tate likes to go to the body a great deal, and he loves that right hand. In fact, it's a very good right hand, very accurate.
Come on, dog.
In his bout against O'Sullivan for the gold, it was his left jab, though, that really was the important factor in the last couple of rounds. Coming down to the final seconds of round number 3, a very relaxed-looking Olympic champion Frank Tate in control as we see it against Thomas Smith.
Come on, dog. You got it.
Detroit-born Frank Tate, the Olympic champion at the junior middleweight of 156 in his middleweight television debut today, round number 4 against Thomas Mad Dog Smith.
Well, during the Olympics, when Tate defeated Sean O'Sullivan, he utilized his left jab a great deal. And I'm sure Sean is sitting at home watching and observing and trying to see what's next.
Jesse Reed has done a wonderful job on that corner over Tate's eye, Tim. It's not leaking at all. But I tell you, I'd be nervous if I was in Tate's corner. I'd say,
No
let's get
knockdown.
this guy out of there.
It was not a knockdown. Tate was trying to duck under it and just lost his balance. I think that's a good point, Gil, and you know, you say it's great for the guys to get some work and all the rest of it, but that's right. All of a sudden, the fight that he has in hand could turn the other way. Very relaxed and confident young man in his 8th professional bout.
He ought to have Smith's moves timed to perfection. Now, Smith just moves his head exactly the same way every time. Dips to the left, dips to the right. Never changes.
What Smith has going for him is his durability and his experience. But I feel that Tate eventually should wear him down.
Well, there you gotta have to remember, Smith's been 10 rounds. Tate never has.
You know, Gil, speaking of 10 rounds, normally when fighters go from 10 to 6, because normally they look forward to the later rounds to come on strong.
Tate wobbled Thomas again there, backed him up with a combination. Thomas Smith.
You're getting very formal, Tim, calling him Thomas.
Yes, Thomas Smith.
At least you could say Tommy or Tom or something like that.
A low blow from Smith did not appear to be intentional, but he caught Frank Tate. Tate's getting a brief respite from referee Jenkin. Under a minute to go in round number 4.
For any of these guys' opponents to defeat the Olympic fighters would be like winning a championship because of the exposure.
Tate caught that open head of Thomas Smith with a right hand, and now he just laced him again with it.
Beautiful movement by Tate.
Tate has very good balance. He gives his man angles, which makes it tough to hit him. Nice movement.
Final seconds of round number 4, scheduled for 6. Middleweights Frank Tate and Thomas Smith. Round number 5, Tim Ryan with Bill Clancy and Sugar Ray Leonard watching Frank Tate in his 8th professional bout against Thomas Smith. 17-2, the opponent Thomas Smith, and Frank Tate, as we see it, very much in command.
Tim, it's Thomas Mad Dog Smith, and he had better get mad.
Well, you suggested between rounds perhaps a title match between Mad Dog Smith and Mad Dog Hatcher. Gene Hatcher be giving away a little weight.
What is it about in Texas, Tim? We have 2 Mad Dogs.
Let him get away.
The Texas Mad Dog Championship.
In Tate, I can see the potential because he has that body movement, good hands.
Well, he's giving it to Ken Norton look now, where he changes. 1 minute he's got the elbows in, hands up nice, and all of a sudden he'll drop them.
I like that too, Gil. He's versatile.
Look at that right hand. Throw it, hit it.
He's certainly poised and confident. That way,
You know, Smith is attacking the wrong side. He keeps trying to hit Tate with right hands. The way to hit Tate is you got to set him up and hit him with left hooks to the body and head, because he leans in, as Ken Norton used to do. He leans into those left hooks.
That was a low blow by Smith. Didn't seem to bother Tate. Good jab.
See the way Tate leans, Ray? You should throw those left hooks up on Tate.
Maybe you should tell Smith that.
Well, it's against the rules, Ray.
well, he's got pretty experienced man Curtis Copes in his corner. There's a good combination by Tate.
You have to appreciate the combinations by Tate.
Well conditioned, too.
One thing about it, Smith has a chin, and it's not going to take one punch. It's going to be a variety of shots, combinations to really to get Smith out of there.
Under a minute to go. in round number 5, and Frank Tate with 6 KOs in his first 7 starts, going the distance.
He's ready to go, Tim. Starting to breathe from the mouth. In fact, he stuck his mouthpiece out, which is indication he is tired or worn down.
Tate had 6 straight KOs, and then in his last outing in June went 6 against David Barrow in Atlantic City.
The movement is really bothering Smith because he can't get set.
Come on, Mad Dog.
As long as Tate's popping that jab, he's going to stay in control.
Come on, Mad Dog. Look. Where your hook?
Coming to the end now of round number 5 of the scheduled 6-rounder. Frank Tate in the blue, Thomas Smith in the black trunks.
You got a punch.
And that's the end of round number 5. And for Frank Tate, so far, impressive work in his network television debut and in his 8th professional bout against Thomas Smith, who's had 19 professional bouts. And of course, we'll be seeing Henry Tillman, the heavyweight, and this young man making his professional debut exactly a year to the day that he won the gold medal right here in Los Angeles. Paul Gonzalez, the outstanding boxer of those Olympic Games, and the reason he has not fought as a pro since that time is that during the Olympic Games he injured his right wrist and needed surgery following the games, and so has had to wait and watch as his teammates began as professionals. And he told us that that's been a very difficult thing on the sidelines, watching all of his friends and teammates advance themselves into the pros, and he had to wait. And there's big Henry Tillman coming off a win over the experienced Leroy Caldwell. He's undefeated, and he will be in our next bout following this one here. Round number 6, Frank Tate in blue, Thomas Mad Dog Smith in the black trunks. Final round.
You know, Tim, we had mentioned that Thomas Mad Dog Smith is the 10-round fighter, and Tate has never gone 10. However, at the end of the last round, it was Smith that was tired and not Tate.
Now Tate using that jab, Ray, which is not a bad jab, but he just doesn't seem to use it as often as perhaps Jesse Reed would like him to.
Well, it's a very good jab, Tim. And he needs to be more consistent with it, because fighting as a junior middleweight and middleweight, you definitely need a left jab.
What he's doing, he's just touching Smith with the jab, Ray, instead of punching through.
Well, he's looking to load up with one big right hand.
These are all the things that will be tracked throughout the early fights in his professional career, and like everything else in the schooling process, presumably he will mature and utilize it more effectively as his opposition gets a little tougher.
Well, Tate is young, and he's only stronger and better and more experienced.
Tate weighing 162 for this bout. Very natural-looking middleweight.
Good combination by Smith. Best of the fight for Smith.
You got a punch.
Tate is almost throwing that jab with an open glove, Ray. Just slapping with it.
Well, he's having a field there now, Gil.
You got a punch.
He's having fun, as a matter of fact. He's doing what he wants to do.
Smith looking weary and looking like he just wants to get through the 6.
Come on, dog. Come on, dog. You got to hit him with that
He
open
hasn't
hand
backed
right.
up at any point, but he just has not been unable to get any consistent pressure on Tate.
Roll it. Come on. Dog. You got a punch, dog. Come on, man, dog. Keep punching. Come on, dog. Punching.
Good left hook by Tate. Not been able to really rock Smith at any point, even though he has landed several combinations and some solid, clean single shots.
Well, what he's been doing so far, Tate, has been quite impressive. In fact, he's taken Smith, of all people, to school.
That's right, Ray. He looks like the experienced guy, and Smith looks like the amateur.
Appeared to have him a little wobbly in round 1, and certainly has been scoring at will. But there's another good, solid right hand.
Oh, he's hurt now.
There's a good.
Now he's hurt.
Another short, choppy right hand. Smith just keeps coming forward.
Well, that referee better take a good look at Smith.
Smith punching back, to his credit. Staying there in the middle of the ring with Tate. And that's it. That's the end of the fight. And As we see it, rather easy romp for Tate, but a game display by Thomas Mad Dog Smith. We'll be back for the official decision in a moment. Right now, let's take you to Gary Bender in our studio. All right, we are back at the Hollywood Palladium, and let's get the decision from ring announcer Bill Kaplan.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a unanimous decision. I will read the cards. Referee Dr. James Jenkins scores the fight 59-55. Judge John Thomas scores the fight 60-53. Judge Louis Moret scores the fight 60-54. All for the winner, still undefeated, Olympic gold medalist, Tate!
Frank. Congratulations, Frank. You seem to be very much in control all the way in that fight, and yet he was a pretty experienced fighter. We saw a lot of poise and confidence.
Well, I wasn't worried about Thomas Mad Dog Smith because I trained 2 hard months for this fight. You know, I know he was a tough competitor, so I trained to my best to seek.
Well, let's look at you in action here in the last round. That was a solid right hand, and I think about the second time in the fight that you really hurt him. I thought you had him a little wobbled in the first round. After that, he seemed to be taking your shots pretty well, but in the sixth, it looked like you had him in trouble again.
Well, I had him in trouble every time I hit him, but I was mainly on boxing, you know. That's what got me here today is boxing. You know, knockouts, okay, they come now and then, but I want to look like a professional boxer.
You're off to a great start, and you're looking more professional every time out. Congratulations to you, Frank.
Thank you very much.
Frank Tate, our Olympic gold medal winner champion and winner here today. Let's take you back to New York and Gary Bender. We are back at the Hollywood